Okay, change of plans. Here is a small garden that produces some really great vegetables. It used to be a chicken pen area right around here, so it does really good. But in order to get enough land for this garden, we had to build it too close to the storm cellar door. And I can't get my mower in there. It's just too close. I'd love to be able to just at least do a pass with my tractor and mower, get through here. So I've got to move it. The storm cellar, that is. Otherwise, we lose the garden. As you can see, ouch, I just stepped in a hole. I've already got a trench dug here, and I've got another trench on this side dug. I've also got a couple of spillways dug for when it gets saturated. And everything went quite well. So to move this, all I have to do, I've already started digging back here, and I'll dig back to where the shovel is, and I'll dig all the way down. And I'll just make a wall where I want the cellar to come back to. Then, once I've got that set and measured perfectly so that it'll fit right up against it, I'll come up here probably about, anywhere in here will do. I'll dig a hole with a long, it's an auger bit. It'll go down about 6 feet and uses my biggest drill. And I'll go down as deep as it'll go, put an extension on it. I think I only need to go down about 10 feet. I don't think I have to take it any deeper than that. Then I'll just run a garden hose down there. And I'll just turn the water on. Yes, it's that simple. It's not like I've got a limited supply of water. The most limiting factor is just the pressure coming out the hose. I've got it set to about 70 psi. That's about, close to 5 gallons a minute. That's about 280 to 300 gallons an hour. And be about 6,500 to 6,800 gallons a day. That's about 2.5 times more water than is going to be needed to float this and move it back. Quite literally, all I have to do is let the water run, let it saturate, fill up these troughs, let it run water around it, and it will float this back on its own. And I won't have to lift another finger on it. If that didn't work, I would have to set a couple of posts out of the way of the drainage and just put a couple of straps on those pipes and just put a little tension on it. And it'll do it. But as is, I should be able to come out here tomorrow afternoon, and this should have floated back into place. And that'll solve this problem. And I'll move some of that dirt around, fill in where these entrance steps were. and just fill in the dirt, and I'm done. And that is how you move concrete structures. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, another day. It's 103 out here. Rather humid, but I have a plan now. I hope it's a good plan. I am totally out of room to store things from my brothers and all of my dad's stuff and everything else. But we do have a storm cellar. It is a single pour piece. It's 8 by 10 inside. And I don't even remember the dimensions outside. It was kind of crazy. Guarantee you no tornado's going to ever suck that out of the ground. Unfortunately, we had planned on using it for food storage, our garden harvests and stuff. And it should have worked, but it gets too hot inside. The only way to fix that is to put 6 feet of soil on top of it, all the way around it, this whole area. Just bury it deep so it'll get down to a cold enough temperature to maintain food. Well, I'm not going to do that. Our problem is that this has started developing leaks. The leaks are from some metal pipes underneath these covers I made. I think they're 6-inch pipes, and they cracked the concrete after multiple years of super freezing and super hot weather. And my plan now is, since this thing is useless as is, I am going to clean it off, dig around, all the way around, pressure wash it, and I'm going to grind the cracks out and seal them with, I believe it's elastomeric caulk. Shrimpy and I discussed this before, and it's about the only thing we could think of that would maybe work. I've talked to some employees at Ace Hardware, and they agreed that that's probably the best bet. I've not been able to find any other good solution. I've looked on YouTube and stuff for their solutions, and same thing, caulk, caulk, caulk. Another solution Shrimpy had told me about, just using elastomeric paint. Well, I've got that too. I've got some paint that reflects, I believe it's 98% of the sunlight. If I paint this, then I can forget about looking out the window anymore of the house. It is bright. We built a cover over this once, and we painted it with that paint. You couldn't look at it. It was just too bright. And even though this is that same paint, it has faded, got dust and stuff on it, and it needed a second coat anyway. But at least it would give me an 8 by 10 storage building. Can't use it for food unless we do major changes to the terrain around here. And I haven't looked inside it in months. At least I don't remember looking inside it. I've already tried to mow it out of the grass a bit. I'm going to string trim around it and get all of it away where I can open the door. And then I'll start digging around. And no, I don't think it's flooded or anything. I mean, we're at nearly the highest point in the region here. Yes, it floods around us and we do get stranded, but If floods came up here, we'd be talking biblical. But I've got to get these antiques off of here. I've got to dig around. I'll do the digging first. No, that's not a good idea. I may as well move the heavy stuff while I still got ground around it, because I'll be digging a pretty good trench around it so that I can fix the cracks and paint it. At least I'm thinking I'm going to paint it. I mean, why not? Be good to seal it. And the paint will at least help. The top of this reaches 165 degrees. Inside, I have had temperatures of close to, I believe it was like 138. It's been a while. I don't think it was higher. But I'm hoping the paint will at least knock that down a lot. Then I can store things out here that are not so delicate with temperature. There is an interesting story to the build here. We paid for this with hay, and it took a long time to get it because that was May 3rd tornado type stuff, and they were really busy installing these all over the state. They finally got to us, but we'd paid them with hay, and they came out here not realizing this is all rock, and they dug and dug and dug, and finally got to where they couldn't dig no more and decided they were going to have to get an industrial jackhammer and a compressor out here. And so they stopped for the day. They usually do these in one day, which is pretty amazing. They do it in one day and come back the next day, pull the forms out, and they're done. It's really amazing watching them work. But they had hit a gopher hole. And we had already had experience with this particular gopher. Let's see if I can do, I bet that'll mess it up. Oh well, anyway. This antenna pole, we put that in there so we could easily maintain and adjust our antennas. And we're sticking that in the ground. We were trying to stick it somewhere over there, and we couldn't get it done. We dig the hole, and the gopher would fill it up before we could come back out and do anything with it. And that happened like 6 times in the same day. I finally just got down and took pictures of the gopher just for the fun of it. But we gave up trying to stick the antenna over here and stuck it over here instead, and managed to get it in before the gopher could fill it in. But that gopher, we joked with those guys, telling them, well, if they're going to wait till tomorrow to come back, what did you get? Frog? It's already messed up. But anyway, we were joking with them, saying, that's going to be filled in if you're going to wait till tomorrow. They came back the next day, and they had this thing dug down probably about 6 feet on this end, and about, I'd say, 5 feet on this end. They needed to go a lot further. And I'm not joking, that gopher had the hole a third filled. They came back and thought we'd filled it in. We showed them that it wasn't us. That gopher worked fast. What worries me is where it got all that dirt from. It had to have come from out here somewhere. That's where it was working mostly. I know this area sank, but anyway, they dug it out, and they told us, if they see that gopher, they're going to kill it. They didn't. They got this in, and they had to cut through solid rock. They hit rock only about like 2 feet deep, but they were able to break through a few more feet, and they managed to get this deep just with the tools they had. But they decided they just couldn't do it all. And the bottom of the bottom of this is spread out quite a bit. It is anchored. There's no getting this sucker out. And those are some thick walls. And they sure did one heck of an amazing job. It was really something. But I'm going to go ahead and make this thing usable again. It's just, I know my dad wants to store food down there so bad. But unless he wants to raise this up by 6 feet and make this whole area a hill, it ain't happening. I fought him over that, trying to explain to him why it's never going to work unless he covers this area up and gets it out of the sunlight. We did think about building a small house on top of it. But that's not going to be enough. You've got to cover the ground area around it. And this thing can get cold. I don't know if it's cold in there now or not. I might check later. Unfortunately, with it being this hot, there's no way I can show you the progress I'm going to make. It's going to be kind of slow. But my camera just won't allow me to do it in this kind of weather. Well, it's another day, and I've already got the cellar dug around as far down as I plan to treat it and paint it. My first task is going to be pressure washing here where the cracks are so I can see how far down it goes. Make sure I can get down deep enough. I hope I don't have to go any deeper than this here. That's about a foot deep into the ground there. And we'll see what the cracks look like. I'm going to be using this super weak little pressure washer. Something Amazon sent me a year ago. And it's surprisingly capable, but it is just a small pressure washer. It's real light, easy to use, electric, but it is good for small jobs. And I think it'll do this just fine. Okay, I've sort of marked where the crack goes down to on this side. You can see that black line. I've gone a little further past it, and you can see where the crack is on top pretty easily there. Heads right to the pipe. But I can tell right now that the water is being funneled right around the edge of that pipe all the way around. Same with the other one. And its cracks doesn't go as deep as the other side. That's good, but I'm going to have to grind those cracks out, and I'm going to have to grind around the pipes to make it hold, or make the caulk adhere to both the concrete and the pipes. And I've got all kinds of angle grinders and blades. I haven't used this cordless one a whole lot. Pretty good though. And that's diamond blade. Should cut the cracks. It's for tile, marble, and stuff like that. I assume concrete falls in there somewhere. I've got other blades that are supposed to do this even better, but I have hunted and hunted and I can't find them. I've got 3 places where they could be and I still can't find them. I know they're right where I forgot them. That's just all I know for sure. They're right exactly where I forgot them. The pressure washer works great. It'll clean this up without any trouble. But first I need to grind those cracks and then pressure wash them out and get all the dust and sand out of them. And then I'll put caulk in. I think I've got caulk already, but if I don't, I'll just have to go get some. And that's a long trip, so they just delay me by quite a few hours. I'm not in too big of a rush. At least it's cooler today. It's only 100 degrees, floating around 100, 101. The breeze helps. It's more humid though, but I don't see much activity in the sky, so I should have a clear day to work on this. But I've got to get this thing usable again. I mean, around here, our biggest threat is wind. It usually comes in these really tightly packed little circles that leave gouges in the land. Sometimes it leaves your house alone, sometimes it doesn't. But this is the only option for dealing with them. Well, I mean, you've got above ground type storm cellars too. I've seen a few of them get whisked away though. Most of them don't. They've upgraded the technology quite a bit. They're fairly safe. But in the tornadoes that we get in Oklahoma, I want something anchored in the ground so good that it'd take an act of God to get it out. And that's what we've got here. It is in solid rock, and it is spread out at the bottom. I guess if I had a way to treat it for it, it'd make a good nuclear fallout shelter. I just wouldn't be able to put a whole lot of food and water in it. So I'm going to get to work on this. If it turns out right, I'll get a good video of it. One trough, pressure washer, mud bath. I got it done though. That tile and marble blade cut through this concrete like butter. I've got the crack about, I'd say around ½ an inch deep. I let it dry. Probably wait till sometime tomorrow to do more. And I'll caulk it, let that dry and seal. And I'm going to make covers for these pipes, and I'm going to set a sprinkler out here. And I'm just going to keep this covered in water for up to 2 or 3 days. May not even need that long, may just need a few hours. Most of the rains, it only took 10 or 15 minutes to start seeing water inside. But if it seals, then I'll pressure wash this top again and dry it, paint it, and then I can start on the inside. I don't see any reason why this won't work, but it's what Shrimpy and I had discussed, and it's about all I can think of too. There is a crack in this door on the inside. I guess I should check on it. It doesn't come out here, so maybe it's all right. Well, I did manage to caulk these with some caulk specially for concrete and stuff and bonds to metal. It looks like it did a really good job. Unfortunately, well, probably not unfortunately, I've had to spend the day going to get supplies, including dog food, human food, or human-ish food, I guess. No, seriously. I got a lot of fruits and vegetables. I actually eat pretty healthy. But I did buy stuff for nachos, fully loaded nachos. As you can see, that pressure washer did a really good job. I didn't get back from town till a little bit ago, and it's been so hot that I've just been a little bit under the weather. Just need some time to cool off. But I'll pressure wash it again before I do any painting. But it sure turned out good. However, it has been a long time since I have been inside this thing. If you can see that pipe there, that's an electrical conduit. We left it out because my dad didn't want to risk lightning getting in it, but I mean, my gosh, you got that and that. How much more lightning attraction do you need? Someday I may go ahead and hook electric to it, and it'd sure be handy. But for now, I'll run a 24-volt solar system and just run some fans and lights inside to maintain the insides. My old setup worked great. It was just using a couple of little lead-acid batteries, like from a UPS system. I've even used lawnmower batteries on it, and it really did work great. But all the moisture in there caused it all to fall apart. Now let's see. What have we got inside? Oh, what a mess. We got something in here eating this insulation. Surely all that didn't just come from this area, did it? Oh, I see. Well, that's not great. Okay. feels like there's still plenty of insulation there, so I'll leave that alone. And oh my gosh. What in the world? That used to be sweet potatoes. But someone's got some explaining to do. One of my vent fans. This is where most of the water was leaking around that pipe. I would see drops of water forming here, but I never could find cracks. I don't know if it's just coming through the concrete or what. This is my solar power system. This will charge as many batteries as you want to put on it, up to 24 volts. This is just a 12 volt adapter, like in an automobile. So I can just plug different things into it. And this is a fan speed controller. Allows me to control the fans. I've got lights, but last I tried them, they were ruined. They were filled with water. But this is a concern. I'm going to assume that this is leftover from all the rains we've had recently. We've just now hit a really dry spell. In fact, I should be lucky that it's this dry, I guess. Well, it's a little worse off than I thought it would be, but I'll clean it, put some detergent down here and clean it, or some kind of soap. And then I'll shop vac it out, clean it a couple more times, and get the floor cleaned back up. That is what I'm upset about. That is my telescope mount. I had run out of room, and this was a dry place when I put it down here. I ain't happy that it's down here. It should still be okay, at least. But I'll get all these old... These are from 2 years ago. And even this board was covered in them. We only ate about a third of it. I got to where I like sweet potatoes, which is really worrisome. I always hated them, but they're actually really good. These are vent covers I made to keep the wasps and everything else out. I even forgot they were there. That's good. That's good. It looks like somehow there's a rat here. I don't care if they're in the carpet. Or it looks like that was a brand new bad of insulation underneath that carpet. Hopefully they're just in that, because under that plastic is the rear seat to our van. Everything in here is on bricks. It's always been on bricks. Hopefully the water never did get up any higher. But there are no cracks in the walls anywhere, even now. It is all a solid unit. So the only way this water is getting out of here is evaporation or a shop vac. And I'm not using my nice new one that Amazon just sent me. That thing is amazing. I'll use the big red one that I use for these messy jobs. Everything looks good. There's a crack right here. Looks like it goes down. It looks like it goes to right about there, so about a foot. It doesn't get wet, so I guess it's all right. Goes all the way to the edge, though. Well, if it came to it, I could grind it and caulk it. But anyway, I'm not going to do a thing to this until, wait, there's another crack. Still not an issue, but I could caulk that sometime. I don't know why, but there's a wasp on my hand. The ants I need to get rid of. I didn't invite them. These are the biting kind. All in all, I am quite impressed with the cellar itself and that little pressure washer. I'm underestimating the power of that little thing. It did a heck of a thing. It really took the mold and mildew off this concrete with ease. You just had to take a little bit shorter stroke is all. But it sure did a good job. I'll pressure wash it again. Let it dry. In this heat, that won't take too long. And then I'll paint it. But it's a good 8x10 building sitting there in the ground. And I've got to have dry storage. Let's see if the top is hot. See if I can get this back. Okay. Yeah, this is an 8x10. See here, I'm 5'3". Yes, I'm short. I've always known that. So I guess that's a little bit over 6 feet tall to the ceiling. And, oh, that is hot. Phew. I'll see if I can't find my thermometer and test that tomorrow. But that is hot. I'd say it's at least 120, 125. The walls are cold. And down low it's cold. But up here I am really sweating. But I'll have to evict all these wasps and spiders and put that fine mesh. I have to design a new vent system. Because I designed that to go over the top we had made over this to get it really cool. It wasn't enough. See here, There's been no moisture around that at all, so that's still good. But I want to get out of here and wash my shoes off. I'm just wearing what's essentially house shoes. But once I get this cleaned, dried, and sealed, and once I've tested and make sure it stays dry, I'll have to build shelving all around it for yeah, I guess I'll have to have shelves. I don't want to just stack, stack, stack. Some things would be okay, but I want them off the floor just in case. It only has to be here temporarily. Probably 5, 10 years. I don't know if those lights are salvageable or not. I don't really care. I've got all kinds of lights I can put down here that'll work on that system. And fans and other things. But I've got lithium ion batteries I can put on it. They'll be by the vents anyway, so it'll be good. In the meantime, I'm out of here. I think it's 102, 103 out here. I am completely wiped out. Someone needs to tell that fireball to cool it. But I got the job done. This hydraulic cement is a royal pain to work with. You have a grand total of about 1 minute to get it ready. And then you got about a minute and a half to get it troweled in, pressed in, shaped, and set. I did it in 5 applications, 2 on this side because that crack went way further than I first thought. One on that side, and then one on each side of this. And this heat, having to bend over everything and try to avoid getting that stuff on you, and wearing rubber gloves, wow. That's harder than walking 9 miles. I'll come out here tomorrow and clean off those pipes. But for now, I'm just going to cool off and rest because I am sick as a dog right now. Whew. Although I'm not sure exactly how sick that is. My dog can get pretty sick. I gave both dogs some watermelon yesterday. Ruby kept me up all night. She was having to go in and out, in and out, and in and out to go pee. Well, watermelons are a natural diuretic, but it's some good watermelon. It's unusual to get a good watermelon at the grocery store, but whatever they've got going on, every cart in that store had watermelons in it. Those were really, really good. They're from Mexico, though, so that's one thing. But they were still really good. I bought 2 of them. It'd be the first time in my life I've ever bought a watermelon, except from a couple of local farmers. Beyond that, all watermelons I've ever eaten, we've raised ourselves. They had some peaches up there I'd never heard of before, moonlights. They were big, and boy were they good. If they'd keep longer, I'd get some. Oh man. This job wasn't that difficult, it just took so much. I had to come out here and grind everything and clean up all the caulk. And I'm satisfied the caulk itself would have lasted a long time. But this guy I talked to, he promises and guarantees that this will last a lot longer. Probably last as long as the Cellar. Well, this is the best time to do it if it's going to be done. So I came out here and reworked it all and cleaned it up. Double checked where the cracks were. Got it ready and troweled this hydraulic cement in. That's probably $10 or $12 worth of crack around everything. Took 10 pounds of that hydraulic cement. All I can say is it better work. I bet it does. Ideally, it wants you to grind a 3/4 inch groove into the concrete. 3/4 inch deep, 3/4 inch wide. But this guy tells me that since this is on the outside, all I need to do is just build it up like I did, like a little roof over it. And that'll be just fine. The only thing I had to be sure of was that I troweled it in tight into the pores of the concrete. And I did that. Well, perhaps tomorrow I'll test it. Still got to make caps for it. Keep the water out while I test it. It's supposed to be ready to go now. But I got to keep it wet for another few minutes. It says it helps with adhesion a little better. This one here I've already kept wet long enough. So that concludes this day. Except for feeding the dogs and the hummingbirds and the songbirds. And as far as me, the only thing I want is water, and lots of it. Till next time. It's 101 out here today, at least right now. It'll get a few degrees hotter by this afternoon. The official temperature for today I think is going to be 98, but up here on this elevated region we get hotter than the official temperature. Well, they look good. So I'll begin water testing them as soon as I put covers over those pipes. But, as I said previously, I'd get my thermometer out and test this thing. In the meantime, Amazon sent me a thermal imaging scanner, or a thermal imaging camera. So let's see what it says this thing is at. I've already got it set to concrete. See here. I have no idea if you can see that screen or not, but it is showing 127.6 degrees. 131, 136, yeah, it don't matter if I get closer or further away. Over here, the temperature reads 131.7. 150.1. See what it reads on that. See here, no. The paint's actually cooler. How about that? See what it registers that as. That handle on that sprayer nozzle there's a, see here, 132 degrees. The metal there's 140. See what it's like inside. Currently 109.6. It's not bad. Still get it here on the floor. This is drying up so much I'm not going to have much trouble cleaning it. The floor is at 74.7, getting lower. About 74 degrees. Wall's about 80. It's just lukewarm. So 109 up here on the ceiling. All right. It's not bad. I'll be interested in trying it after I get it painted. That'll be a bit. First, I'm going to start the water tests. I'm going to do laundry and other things. And if it stays dry in here, man, what a mess. I'll start cleaning all this up. That's a pretty good tool. I've got lots of those non-contact thermometers that I use on a lot of things like automotive tests. But these are really useful when you're needing to check out electric wiring, looking for weak spots and stuff. It feels good out here, but I still work myself until I'm feeling really awful. I look awful too. Yeah, I definitely do. It's threatening to rain. It's been doing that all day. But that's all right. That old Sears Craftsman wet dry vac did a pretty good job. Would have been better if I'd had the extension tubes. I had to just lean over and do it all. But it did it. But these old shop vacs sure are loud. You just absolutely have to wear ear protection with them. Amazon sent me a brand new shop vac just recently, and it is so quiet I had to take my ear protection off to make sure it was actually running right. It's a DeWalt. I've probably mentioned it before on another video, but I'm not fond of DeWalt cordless tools. They're alright, but if you look at the insides, you'll understand why. The internals just are not as good a quality as some other brands. But it does work. Turns out my telescope tripod is still in good shape. I thought being in all that moist, damp water had ruined it, but it's just dusty. Clean it up, lubricate it, it's good to go. Cleaning this went way better than expected. All that rust shows up better in this video than it does actually standing here. While it's not perfectly clean, well, according to this video, it's awful. But I've got some stains. Now, one of us is lying. Either this video is lying or my eyes are lying. I could easily power wash this some more, but I don't see a reason. It's going to get dust in it anyway. And I got all that sweet potato and pumpkin residue out. Got rust and old dirt dauber mud lines. I do have one problem. I found a crack. It's not leaking, and it's deep enough that it'd be annoying to try and get to. The one that I fixed outside is right here. But if I have to, worst case scenario, I can grind this out and fix it in here. But the best thing to do is to dig down and fix it on the outside. I'd have to dig down another 2.5 feet. This ground, that would be tough, and I'd be having to dig into solid rock. But I pressure washed this, and that wet dry vac sucked up all the stuff that it needed to. I do wish it didn't look so grungy, but that's a combination of rust and old dirt dauber stain. I bet when I get this video up, y'all can't hear a word I say. Maybe I'll subtitle it. But this is clean enough for what I need. I'll put shelves up. Anyway, let it dry for a while. And I'll make some moisture traps. I'll have to go get a box of rock salt or something. It needs to be a pretty good sized chunk of salt. Rock salt. And I'll make a couple of them to put down there, and it'll suck the moisture out of there. I'm planning on putting stuff in there that's in containers anyway. But all in all, it cleaned up a lot better than I thought it would. I've always hated putting sweet potatoes and pumpkins and other things down there. I've tried and tried to stop my dad from doing that, but he just he loves gardening too much. He just won't accept that unless we build a place for that stuff, we're just making more problems. Well, I just cleaned up one of the problems. And now, from the look of it, I better put a few things down in there that I don't want to get wet and call it a day.